Hey to all my book lovers and fellow book dragons. If you're new here, hi, my name is Meredith and welcome to my channel. I think we got it. We got this. Okay. Alright, so we're ready to go. Alright, I'm gonna just start all over. We're gonna get through this. And I feel like I'm practicing enough now where I can be myself. Maybe, remember. Okay, all right. Hey, I'm blah, blah, already. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, starting over. Hey to all my book lovers and fellow book dragons. If you're new here, hi, my name is Meredith and welcome to my channel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about all the books that I have read and started in series. So, did I say that right? I guess. We're going to talk about all the series that I've started. There we go. That sounds a lot better. I literally went through my entire TBR and it was very eye-opening. I really thought I had finished more series and completed them than I have. And I have started so many. And so writing them all down and discussing them with y'all is going to really help me as a reader to go through what I'm going to continue reading. First off, things that I want to complete by the end of the year and the series that I'm going to DNF. And we're going to talk about all of that. But I am reading 23 series right now. So yeah, there's a lot and that's going to be way too much to talk about in one video. So we're going to split all this up and I figured we'd just make this a little series for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to do 2 episodes of the series that I'm currently in, and then we're going to carry over and we're going to talk about all the series that I've already finished, just so that y'all can get an idea of the kind of books that I like, and I can rate them and let y'all know if I think that they're worth reading or giving a shot. And I really want to figure out some way, and I haven't figured out how I want to do this, but I want to figure out a way to talk about the series that I want to start, the books that I want to get into reading. But I don't know, that's like a never-ending TBR. And so, I don't know. I'm going to figure out how I want to do that. Maybe one video a month and do like a certain genre. And it doesn't have to just be a certain series. Like it could just be a book I want to read. Maybe we'll do different genres, different types of books. And I could do 1 or 2 videos a month, maybe, to talk about books. We'll see how all that goes. But anyway, we're going to get right into it and start talking about the series that I'm currently reading. Okay, so the first series that we're going to talk about now, I'm not talking about these series in any type of order. This is just what I wrote down, and we're just going to talk about it in the order that I wrote everything down. So we're going to talk about 11 of the 23 series today. And the first series we're going to talk about is the Wolf King trilogy by Lauren Powell Freeman. This is an enemies to lovers romantasy between werewolves and humans. So we're following our FMC Aurora, who is a princess, and she gets kidnapped by our MMC Callum, who is an alpha werewolf, and he takes her back to his kingdom to be used as leverage in the war between the werewolves and the humans. And so obviously it's a romance, there's some tension, there's some forbidden love, and Aurora has questions about herself, about her life that she needs answered. And at the end, she's gonna be the reason that either the war ends or the war continues on. So it's definitely a fun trilogy. I've read The Wolf King and The Night Prince. I gave The Wolf King a 5 stars and gave The Night Prince 4 stars. It's definitely a vibes read. It's been really fun. The third book, I can't remember what it's called. The Queen Wolf or something like that. It comes out in November, and I'm hoping that this is going to be one of the series that I complete by the end of this year. I'm hoping to get that book probably on my Kindle and read it when it gets published. So I'm super excited about that book. The next series that I'm continuing on with is the Plated Prisoner series. This is I would say a mild dark fantasy. It definitely has some dark tendencies to this series, especially in the first book. But after the first book, things start to get better. Did I tell you what it was by? Did I tell you who it was by? The Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I think I did. This is a King Midas retelling. So we are following our FMC RN, who I love, by the way. She's completely gilded gold, and she is King Midas's pet that he protects and keeps safe in a gilded cage. Literally, that's what the entire book is about. And so it's definitely got its dark tendencies. Definitely read the, what are they called? I can't even remember what they're called. Definitely read the warnings at the beginning of the book to make sure that you're okay with reading it. But you just trust me, you've got to get through the first book, and then things just get better from there. It's nothing like what you think it's gonna be, especially if you have no idea what this series is about. You would definitely be shocked by book 2. I have 2 more books. There's 6 books, I think, in the series. I have 2 more books to read, and I'm hoping this is another one of those series I want to finish by the end of the year. The next trilogy that I'm reading right now is the New Republic trilogy by Tahereh Mafi. This is a young adult dystopian romance. This is following the Shatter Me series. So if you haven't read the Shatter Me series, I would not recommend reading. The first book's called Watch Me. I would not recommend reading it because you're not gonna love it. You're not gonna enjoy it the same way as if you read Shatter Me. So I highly recommend reading Shatter Me first. But in this series, we are following Aaron Warner's younger brother, James, who wants to completely destroy the Reestablishment, which is a government that was controlling and super evil in the Shatter Me series. And so they are all on an island, hidden away, trying to reestablish the government that James's brother and his wife destroyed. And so James goes on the island to try to completely defeat the reestablishment. And while he's there, he gets into some trouble and he meets our FMC, Rosabelle, I think that's her name. Yes, Rosabelle. He meets Rosabelle. Obviously, it's enemies to lovers. He really is a young adult, but it's super sweet, and I highly recommend the series. And I'm going to read the second book. The third book, this is a trilogy, and the third book does not come out until next year. So unfortunately, I won't be able to finish this trilogy this year, but hopefully next year I'll get it finished. The next series is also by Tahereh Mafi. It's called This Woven Kingdom series, and it's also a YA. It's a romantasy. In this series, we are following she's a young, lost Jinn queen, and her people have been completely put in hiding. She has been hiding because the kingdom that she lives in, they want to kill her. And so she has been hiding as a servant for most of her life. She's definitely had a rough life. And so she's in hiding, and then the prince at the kingdom that hates her has taken notice of her, and so he does not know who she is. So there's forbidden romance, there's some secrets that need to be found out. We need to find out all the things about the Jinn Queen and what her plans are, and it's definitely it's a fun read. It's a fun series. I highly recommend this series. The first book is a little bit slow, I will say, but the story is nothing like what you think it's going to end up being about. And that's what I love about Tahereh Mafi, is she's so good at making you think one thing and then you find out it's completely something different. So the last book comes out next year of this series. I'm so excited to finish this series. I have loved this series. I have read these books as she's written them and they've came out. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm so ready for the finale, and I highly recommend this series. My next series is called the Invisible Library series by Genevieve Cogman. I've only read 1 book of this series. And so this has been a while since I've read this series. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I was looking for romance, and there was 0 romance in this book. I would say that this is a fantasy fiction literally, it's a magic library, books about books and then a librarian. And so I do want to continue this series, but I want to read it when in my mind I know that I'm not reading romance. I probably would have given it a higher rating. I think I gave this book 2 stars. Probably would have given it like 3.5, maybe 4. I don't know. I don't even know if I probably won't even go back and read it. I'll probably just read the next book. But I don't specifically remember everything about this book. So I want to read the synopsis to you guys so that you know kind of what you'd be getting yourself into. It says, one thing any librarian will tell you, the truth is much stranger than fiction. Irene is a professional spy for the Mysterious Library, a shadowy organization that collects important works of fiction from all of the different realities. Most recently, she and her enigmatic assistant Kai have been sent to an alternative London. Their mission, retrieve a particularly dangerous book. The problem, by the time they arrive, it's already been stolen. London's underground factions are prepared to fight to the death to find the tomb before Irene and Kai do, a problem compounded by the fact that this world is chaos infested, the laws of nature bent to allow supernatural creatures and unpredictable magic to run rampant. To make matters worse, Kai is hiding something, secrets that could be just as volatile as the chaos-filled world itself. Now Irene is caught in a puzzling web of deadly danger, conflicting clues, and sinister secret societies, and failure is not an option because it isn't just Irene's reputation at stake, it's the nature of reality itself. So, the synopsis sounds pretty interesting. And like I said, I don't know. I might go back and reread the first book, maybe, and then continue with the series. This is one of those series that I'm really not sure if I'm going to finish reading or not. But it's still on my TBR for now. So the next series that I want to talk about is called the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. This is a young adult, urban fantasy, you name it. It's got vampires, werewolves, there's demon hunters, demons, angels, there's a little bit of everything, supernatural, anything you can, wizards are in here. Like this series is my heart. I literally started these books when I was in high school and I never finished them because not ironically, but Cassandra Clare was writing the last book of the series when I was like a senior in high school. And so I never finished. And then as an adult, I just wanted to get back into reading and I found these books and reread them. And so now I still haven't read the last book. The last book is what I have to read. That's definitely on my, I want to finish at the end of the year. I think I'm going to do a video about books I want to definitely continue and finish by the end of the year, especially since we're at the 6-month mark. I might do something like that in the next few videos. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, but anyway, so the Mortal Instruments series, we start off with our FMC, who is Clary, and she does not know anything about this forbidden world that you can't see, that you know nothing about with demon hunters. They're called shadow hunters. Well, she's at a party with her friend Simon, and she starts to see these other people, and they murder what she thinks is a person. It's a demon, and so she freaks out, and then they realize that she can see them, and there's just so many questions of why can she see them, and then her mom gets kidnapped, and then she ends up getting help from one of the shadow hunters, Jace. They form a relationship. So it's definitely a fun read. I love this series. I will continue on with the entire Shadowhunter Chronicles. I want to finish all of her books. I'm pretty sure she's writing her last book sometime this year, but there's probably no way I'm going to get through all of those books. It would be definitely a miracle, but I highly recommend this series. I highly recommend this entire universe, and I'm super excited to continue along with the story. So this next series is probably going to be a little controversial, but it's the From Blood and Ash series. It is a vampire romance. I got to book 3 in this series, and I loved the first book, I loved the second book, but I dragged on book 3, and I had some spoilers about book 4, and so I decided because I didn't like the spoilers, I decided I'm not continuing with this series. I really dragged along with book 3, and it makes me so sad because I like several of Jennifer L. Armentrout's books. So I was very shocked that I wasn't into her vampire story. Like I said, I loved the first book and I loved the second book. And then the third book, like the beginning was great. And then the middle, all of the majority of the book was so just boring. And then you got to the last end and it was like a big old bang of an ending. But I was like, is it even worth it when I did not enjoy reading it? And so I'd rather enjoy a book instead of drag along with this series. So I'm not continuing with this series. I am DNFing this series. But if you do want to read it, we are following along our FMC Poppy, who is a maiden. So she can't be touched. She's never been with anyone. She's not even supposed to be looked at. They keep her covered up when she's in public. She wears this hat thing over her face and she stays covered up. And so she's supposed to be ascended and is supposed to like save her people, save her kingdom. And so there's so many, even for me, like I said, I got to book 3, but there's so many unanswered questions that even I don't know. But anyway, she ends up with having a specific guard as her protector or whatever until she's getting ascended when she's of age. And so obviously there's a little bit of forbidden romance. She starts questioning things. She starts questioning what she wants for her life. And it's a definite fun read. And I highly recommend that you read it for yourself and you decide, because some people absolutely love this series. I was very heartbroken that I did not continue on with the series because I loved the FMC and the MMC so much together. Like, I know some people like can't stand Poppy, but I never had an issue with Poppy. That was not my issue. The issue was the author would like talk about stuff that like rooms, like so much detail about what a room looked like, and it would just be so boring. And then nothing would happen in the third book is what I'm talking about. The FMC and the MMC there would be spicy scenes, but like nothing would happen. And I'm like, how many times are we going to do this and not have anything happen? And so I just couldn't do it. So DNF in this series. Okay, so from my next series, which is one of my favorite series. I love this series so much. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I cannot rave about the series enough. This is definitely my basic book girly self, that this is one of my top tier series. But this is the Fae Romantasy, and we're following Farah, who the Fae are wicked. They're scary. They live in poverty, Farah, the FMC, and her family. And so she takes care of her family, and she's out hunting one day and she kills a wolf. And then after she kills the wolf, this big beast of a bear, I specifically can't remember. It was a big beast, comes and takes Farah away into the Fae lands, which she ends up realizing that he is Fae. And so there's a little bit of forbidden romance. She starts to unravel some things that the fairy kingdom is in trouble, and she wants to help, and she has to decide what she's going to do. Is she going to go back home? Is she going to choose to stay with the Fae? And so it's a definite must read, especially if you love romantasy. Definitely to dip your toe into romantasy, I think is a great way to start. And this series, you can't just read the first book and think you understand what the series is about. You have to read. You have to continue. Otherwise, you have personally no right to judge, because the first book is just a stepping stone from what Sarah J. Maas does with this world. So I highly recommend this series. And I have not completed the series because I'm waiting for book 6, which I'm super excited for in October, and I'm going to read it immediately when that book comes out. We are getting down to it. So we got 3 more. My next series is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I have not finished the series. I do love this series. This series is a fun read. It is not one of my all-time favorite series, but it's definitely got amazing world building, amazing fantasy. It's just such a beautiful story. In the first book, you cannot read this first book and possibly imagine what this story is about. But in the first book, you're following an FMC who is an assassin. She's in a prison. They take her out of the prison to go to the kingdom that has had her locked away so that she can fight for her freedom in this competition with like 23, I think there's 23 other criminals. And so she has to win and survive till the end. And then these criminals start dying off, and so she's trying to save her life and also get her freedom. And so she starts following this mystery. There's a little bit of a love triangle. It's definitely not what it seems. And so I highly recommend reading this series and just seeing for yourself if you enjoy it or not. I have 2 more books to read. I hate to say it. It makes me so sad. But the only reason I haven't finished the series is because the second to last book is not about the main FMC and MMC. It's about a side character that is just not one of my favorites. And so I have been dreading reading the book because it's not like a little book either. It's a big, thick book. And everyone says you have to read it to understand the ending of the story. And so I really just need to make myself read it, and then hopefully I can finish that series before ACOTAR 6 comes out. Maybe that's my goal, but we shall see. So this is going to be another controversial series. So my next series that we're going to talk about is the Empyrean series, which is Fourth Wing. I loved Fourth Wing. I had so much fun with Fourth Wing. It was such a vibes read. I was super excited for this series. I was so pumped. And then I read book 2 and I was like, no, this is a fail. I hated book 2. I have not read book 3 because I do not know if I'm going to continue with this series. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with book 4 before I decide if I'm going to read book 3 or not. But in book 1, Fourth Wing, we're following our FMC Violet, they are in a war college. And so they're fighting to the death and doing trials to win, to become dragon riders and to bond to dragons. And it's such a fun read. These dragons can speak to you in their minds, and it's so much fun. That's like my favorite part of the entire book. But she ends up having to try to stay alive, obviously, through these trials, but also enemies to lovers. There is a guy named Zayden who absolutely hates her because her mom she's like the head of the war college. And so he has it out for Violet to try to kill her. And so now, not only does she have to survive just the trials to try to bond to a dragon, but she also has to survive Zayden and what he wants to do to her. So it's definitely a popular read. I recommend you reading it for yourself and figuring out if you like it or not. But like I said, this is up in the air. I do not know if I'm going to continue the series or not. As of right now, I have no desire to read book 3. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Okay, so for my last series, it's called The Crown's Games Duology. I only read the first book. I do not specifically remember what this book was about, so I'm going to give you the synopsis, but I will say I am not continuing with this duology. It's just the writing was not for me. I feel like the book had such potential and the story had so much potential, but I did not like this author's writing, and this is not the first book that I've read by her. I think I just don't like her writing because I've read a few other books by her, and it's just they've never stuck with me. So I'm going to read the synopsis and then we'll talk some more. So Vika Andreeva, obviously that's like Russian sounding, can summon the snow and turn ash into gold. Nikolai Karamov can see through walls and conjure bridges out of thin air. They're enchanters, the only 2 in Russia, and with the Ottoman Empire and the Kazakhs threatening, the Tsar needs a powerful enchanter by his side. And so he initiates the Crown's Game, an ancient duel of magical skill, the greatest test an enchanter will ever know. The victor becomes the Imperial Enchanter and the Tsar's most respected advisor, the defeated, is sentenced to death. Raised on tiny Avkanin Island her whole life, Vika is eager for the chance to show off her talent in the grand capital of St. Petersburg. But can she kill another enchanter even when his magic calls to her like nothing else ever has? For Nikolai, an orphan, the crown's game is the chance of a lifetime, but his deadly opponent is a force to be reckoned with. Beautiful, whip, smart, imaginative, and he can't stop thinking about her. And when Pasha, Nikolai's best friend and heir to the throne, also starts to fall for the mysterious enchantress, Nikolai must defeat the girl they both love or be killed himself. As long-buried secrets emerge, threatening the future of the empire, it becomes dangerously clear the crown's game is not one to lose. So this is young adult. I would say it's romantasy. It's a love triangle. And like I said, it could have been, there was so much potential, but I just did not like the writing. So my camera stopped working, and so I'm not sure how this is going to edit out. But anyway, I wanted to end my episode. So those are all the series that I've started, and the ones that I'm going to continue with, or the ones that I've DNF'd, or the ones that are still up in the air. If you like videos like this, please give me a like and put a comment down below and subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.